We're on the clock now, where we give these panelists about 15 seconds each to sound off on the following topics. First up, more fallout over the shakeup in the state's behavioral health care system. Two New Mexico nonprofits cleared of fraud are seeking Medicaid repayments from the state. The Democrats in New Mexico's congressional delegation are also asking for the federal government to take an active role in overseeing the state system. In response, HSD spokesman Matt Kennicott accused the politicians of defending and excusing rampant overbilling of Medicaid dollars and taxpayer money. And Laura, in the long run, it's my odd question here, and the price of all this with lawsuits and all this may end up costing us more money than it was, money we're supposed to originally save or something. But it seems like we've had a little turn of events here. What's your sense of the momentum? Who's on the winning side of this now? We've had a couple people cleared here. What's happening?
Well, I think New Mexicans are on the losing side, that's for sure. I can't really tell who's winning.
Right.
But I do think that having more federal oversight is important, given that we really don't see much progress, I don't think, coming from the administration in terms of the oversight here.
That's a big ask. It's a huge ask. Ross, your take?
This issue seems to be going on in the state for a long, long time, even before this current administration. And also, in fairness to the 8 people at HSD, there was a staffer over at El Mirador that was investigated for misspending money. So, but I think that the question about how much this is going to cost the state in the long run is a genuine one.
Lieutenant Governor, your thought?
Well, it's already cost the state about $30 million. And the fraud, the proof of fraud is less than $50,000. There's the taxpayer bill.
And how do you value people being underserved as well? What's the price tag there? Tom, your thought?
Yeah, well, there's still a huge vacuum of information. I mean, we still don't really know the extent of what's going on, and so so everybody's playing a game of poker, but nobody's showing their cards.
There you go. U.S. Department of Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz finally paid a visit this week to the waste isolation pilot plant near Carlsbad. And he vowed that WIPP would one day be restored to full operations. The plant closed since February, and that fire and that radiation leak is still being investigated to the cause, and a timeline is not yet in place for its reopening. But Tom, New Mexico's Environment Secretary Ryan Flynn told us that the Department of Energy didn't notify the state until 5 days after the leak that it happened. And it took 6 months to get the DOE secretary here finally. But do you sense a turnaround here, or is this too little too late? What's happening?
Well, I sense a turnaround of communication because everybody's finally piecing the timeline together, but it's still at least 18 months before the citizens of Carlsbad will start to see the economic impact of that happening. Of course, safety first, but nobody really knows what's going on there still.
Interesting. Lieutenant Governor?
Well, I just want to echo what Tom said about the economic impact, not just on Carlsbad, but on the state in general, and certainly the southeast sector. It's a good thing that we have what we talked about earlier, which is this oil and gas boom going on, because it's a huge economic impact to close WIPP for that amount of time.
Exactly right.
I wasn't surprised that Secretary Moniz, who, by the way, has got the most interesting hairstyle of anyone in the Obama cabinet, I wasn't really that surprised that he says that he was going to keep WIPP open, because without Yucca Mountain being opened, then we've got to find a place as a nation to put this waste.
Interesting. Laura?
I think he should have shown up a lot sooner, and I think that, that it should have risen to the level of the Secretary's office just much more rapidly. I think they need to do everything they can to restore some public trust.
You think it'd be a priority with what Rob mentioned? There's only a couple of these places around the world, around our country, so get after it. Now, thank you all for being here. We'll have the rest of these on the clocks on the web. Join us next week. We talk with families who have lost their relatives in officer-related shootings by the Albuquerque Police Department. And as always, all of us here at New Mexico in Focus appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. Catch up with us anytime on social media by searching New Mexico in Focus. You can find archived interviews and bonus material from our shows on our YouTube channel and at newmexicoinfocus.org. I'm Gene Grant. We'll see you next week in Focus.